Firstly, let me welcome all of you. The meeting is called to order. Firstly, let me welcome all of you to this general body meeting. The meeting has been convened with the specific purposes of firstly presenting our financial position, and secondly, since we are coming to the end of our EOM, the election of, or rather the choosing of an election officer. Before we start with the presentation, I'd like to just preface this by laying down a few ground rules for the meeting. We want the meeting to be purposeful and as concise as possible. So therefore, I would request all members, when we open the proceedings for questions or statements, there should not be a cross talk. Let's not waste time in that. They should ask the permission of the chair, and with the permission of the chair, they can speak. And I would also request them to be brief and concise and to the point, because there are many members present here. We would like to give all of them who want to make a point on the agenda items chance to do so. And therefore, please be brief and to the point. With these few words, let us start first. I think the assistant the first item on the agenda is the minutes. So normally we take the minutes as read. We don't want to waste time on the reading of the entire text.
Minutes are considered read, or you want to conclude it? No, we want to talk about the painting part of it. That part of the minutes can be talked about.
No, this is minutes have to be read. So you want a physical reading?
Yeah, because read means it is read and then discuss on that. What the progress on it.
So
progress.
The painting part is the most important part of it. That can be discussed.
Can we come to it after we go through that?
Yeah.
No, I think the thing is, if we take the minutes as read, then I will give time later in the other matters for the painting thing to be discussed. But first we must agree on the minutes being taken as read.
Yeah, subject to having discussion on this later.
That is perfectly. So we take the minutes as read and approved. The second item on the agenda is the financial position, and I would ask both our treasurer and our secretary to present the main features of the financial statement to this audience.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. President.
And just one question. What is the purpose of this? Are you expecting GBM to approve it, or it is only for the info of GBM?
It's just a summary of that.
Information.
So I'll start. So first of all, thank you very much in terms of giving us the opportunity of managing this for the entire year. I think the challenges which was presented to us at that time was when another outgoing UN gave us the budget for FY25. It was projected as a negative surplus for us. It's close to about 47 lakhs if I remember. It's around 47 lakhs, which was kind of estimated for the budget. When we presented our budget, we kind of presented a surplus budget of around 6 lakhs, 56 lakhs or something, 6.5. I'm very glad to announce that we are positive around 45 lakhs in our the entire year. I think it has been a great work in terms of managing the cost as well as tweaking something which is not urgent, which is urgent only expenses and which is only important. So those expenses we have dealt with, and also the manpower shift from Welltech to our own roles has obviously added to a lot, and of course the GST savior and also the increase in the maintenance has got us here. So these are all the summaries. So in fact I have broken it down on a cash basis. So earlier the balance sheet which was presented to you was on accrual basis. I think it is more easier to understand cash basis than accrual because we understand what cash in, cash out. That's the basic of any basic business. So we don't have any complexities in terms of our account. It's maintained very, very simply. So cash basis works very well for us. So I don't want to be reading out the entire, everybody have the basis with you which is self-explanatory. On the heads I'll read out. On maintenance expenditure, our planned, of course we exceeded our budgeted estimate surplus of good close to about 7 lakh rupees. And electricity is a negative. Just come down. So electricity we estimated around a 2 lakh kind of a deficit, and our deficit is close to about 6,42,000. In fact, what we did last year was our manpower now is coming to electricity account. So earlier we used to do it in maintenance account now. Just come down. Water, again a marginal surplus. We have exceeded there as well. On capital, again there we exceeded. So it was around 21 lakhs of negative deficit we were projecting. We are exceeded. We are surplus around 14 lakhs. So overall, if you look at, we projected around 6,52,000 of surplus budget, and we are at 45,69,000. If I look at all the balances below, cash balances as on 31st March is 34,51,000. We have an FD balance of 1 crore 39 lakhs. And we have made some FDs were matured, and also we made some FDs during the year. So this was around 6,32,000. So we have to adjust these numbers, the net cash transfer to FD and interest accrued, because we are making it on a cash basis. So the cash balances as of 31st March would be 65,51,000. So however, it will not match with the balance sheet which was sent to you, because we still have to make some reconciliation. We have, there were some checks which were, signed around 26 days. So you will get the reconciliation statement very soon. I think we will do the reconciliation to match this numbers. So FD balance as on 31st March is around 1 crore 50 lakhs. So earlier number, the cash balance was, sorry, the 2024 34 lakhs was from the previous year. And as of now, cash balance on 31st March 25 is 65 lakhs. FD balance is 1 crore 50 lakhs. I'm happy to take any questions if you have any questions.
This revised estimate, is it revised estimate or is it the expenditure?
It's actual.
You have to ask the person.
I raised my hand and then he looked at me. Okay.
No, I don't. No, there's no problem in this case. But I think we need to read.
सर माइक ले लीजिए, आपकी आवाज़ नहीं आ रही है।
मैं कह रहा था इससे आपके उससे मुझे कोई आपत्ति नहीं है, पर मैं सिर्फ वो ग्राउंड रूल आगे के लिए जिससे ऑर्गेनाइज मीटिंग ठीक से हो सके, इसलिए ये आपसे रिक्वेस्ट कर रहा हूँ.
So I heard a question, so I'll answer the question. So this is actual revised estimate is actual.
So it's expenditure. So it should be expenditure, and there is no revised estimate.
So this is not revised estimate. So estimate, budgeted estimate is what we presented earlier. Revised is basically, this is how things are presented in the maximum. It's basically on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we go to the top?
Yeah.
Just scroll up, please. Maintenance fee has gone up to 9 lakhs. It's because of increase in maintenance rate, or is it because of something else?
You're talking about in the budget. In the budget, when we presented, we estimated our maintenance fee revenue to be 2 crore 23 lakh 70,000. We have collected roughly about, as you rightly said, nearly 9 lakhs more. This is a result of recoveries.
9 lakhs we are recovered from those who were defaulted earlier.
That's excellent.
Very good.
Very
Very good. Appreciate it. Right, next question. You have a question? No, I've got it. Good. We had a subcommittee which met, and we was a member of it, where we talked about the electricity and water. And it was very clearly mentioned that electricity and water will only have inputs what members pay and output what we pay to government agencies. All other charges are supposed to be under maintenance, which has always been since inception of this RWA. And she can vote for it. There are other members also here. Why it has again gone back to this? Because this does not show the exact picture. This may show you picture as far as your bookkeeping is concerned. Okay, how much you are spending in the DD's rule. But as far as the account is concerned, the DG, the electricity should have only first line and first line. Similarly, on the water side, why it has been changed?
On the water side?
Also on water. You should come to the water also. Similarly, you have put expenditure.
So let me answer that question. You are right, we had done that in the previous thing. We had a very detailed discussion in the GBM held on August 11 as to why we were reverting to the practice of putting the DG room expenses under the electricity. What was happening was the reason why we really ran into deficit in 23-24 on a running basis was primarily because you had to pay a huge amount of money, spend a huge amount of money on DG room. Because if you remember the last one had broken down, we nearly spent 21 lakhs rupees on diesel purchase alone, and it was not getting captured. So we had a long discussion both in the BOM meeting, receiving the August 11th general body meeting. In fact, Dr. Srivastava was part of that committee which recommended that these expenses should be booked under maintenance. But we had a different view. We wanted more transparency. We wanted our people to know what actually you spend on electricity. And this captures whether you are paying only to the government or whether you are spending on the DC room. This is your entire electricity expenses and what you are raising to meet these electricity expenses. Now, that is why we brought in an operations cost to improve our electricity revenue. Now, you may agree with it, disagree with it, but I mean, even now there is still a deficit which is being met by maintenance. But you have an idea what is the area that you need to target. You at least residents and members now get an idea that electricity budget is bleeding us. What is it that we can actually need to address this? Unless we put these numbers upfront there, actions won't follow. People did not know how the electricity expenses were actually bleeding us, and primarily it is because of DC. Even this year, where we had expected that we would overall run into a deficit of 2,22,000, we basically includes a 38,000 hit and a GST outgo of 1,80,600. That was what was projected. But we have eventually ended up having now a deficit of almost, I think, 6 lakh. What is the 42,000? 642 lakhs. And if you look at it, we had thought we would spend on DG room only 4 lakhs rupees. But we have ended up spending 7.9 lakhs rupees. This is a huge challenge we have on hand. And the reason of classifying this, see, accounts, there are different people will have different philosophies. I think if the BOM thought that it is important for us to organize the data in a manner that helps for meaningful intervention, we can debate that. But we debated that in August 11 and we approved this classification. We went back on the decision of the committee as per the discussion held in August 11, not at a BOM meeting. And we have followed since. If you want to change this and go back to the order of practice, we can debate that. But for now, for the purpose of this annual financial statement, we have an approval of the GBM on August 11. So right now, there is no need to change this. Let this
There was no decision to have these, because what it means? It means I as a member, I am paying maintenance charges. Out of the part of the maintenance charges which earlier used to cater for the DG room expenses, now I am paying in electricity bill because my electricity bills have gone up. It means my maintenance charges are no longer 4 rupees. They are much more. The only thing is you are doing your accounting and I am paying much more because all these things should have come under maintenance and therefore it should be accounted against CMC charges. That is the basic difference.
that's a viewpoint.
No, but that was a decision of the committee, that was a decision of the GBM. There was no reason for it to be changed.
I said that it was a decision of the committee. We discussed it at the GBM. When we put this up and put this up classification, the GBM approved it. That is what is approval.
I have the committee report with me, which I have circulated to all the members of the committee. It says a single financial statement account to be maintained for the books of electricity ensuring better transparency and management that shall include 1. The grid electricity received from members and non-members including payments to BVNL. 2. The DG electricity receipts from members and non-members including the cost of diesel. And 3. The operational expenditure for grid and DG maintenance.
Right.
It is a part of the electricity account as per the committee recommendation.
Yes, it was not to be counted against the money of
No, but it is a part of the electricity account.
electricity account, bank account, or electricity account, any account what you are maintaining in your books. There is a difference between the two.
The operational expenditure for DG.
From where are you getting money? You are getting money from the electricity bill, income, that is the income. And out of that you are spending money for maintaining the facility, which earlier used to be maintained under the CMC charges.
That's why we have a red electricity account.
So therefore, in books, if you want to have a view how much money is being spent there, most certainly maintain it like that. But as far as the members are concerned, this should be part of the. This is my view. Members can give their view.
No, I do not agree with this view. It's a very logical view, and I remember you take it with a lot of thought. I mean,
Please take permission.
yeah, commission.
Granted.
So I do not agree with you. The rational practice is always to put all the electricity thing in one go, so you know what is leading us. They are very logical in what they are saying. It is why I say all these people have looked at it and have come from it. Now, if you want to debate why then it is another matter.
Can I speak?
Now,
Can I speak, sir?
One second. First,
Yeah.
let me ask the two gentlemen here, members, whether you finished your presentation or you still have something to say.
No, I think more points are there.
Okay.
So yeah. So basically, sir, I can understand that the amount is going into electricity account for us and we are paying for it. But the gentleman is totally right that it should be a combined expenditure for a BOM to do, right? मैं सृष्टि में ये इसमें पार्सवनाथ में रह रहा था. So I am Gaurav staying in T2802. So वहाँ पे उन्होंने gram power करके use कर रहे हैं, which give you exact details कि आपका day wise, hour wise, what is your actual utilization of power. So basically we should also implement that. One, it will give the clarity. Second, as I know कि बीच में राजकुमार का मेल आया था that we have some overdues of electricity, out of which I guess 9 lakh is recovered. Rest of the amount, in case you are not getting, building it up, आप पैसा नहीं पे कर रहे तो आपको electricity नहीं मिलेगा. So that's the end of the story. So it will cover 2 points. One, I am paying what I am using, plus I also have the visibility कि मेरा कैसा utilization है. Second, the defaulters will stop getting the electricity in their flats. So that's my point. Thank you.
that she's saying that you are in surplus instead of deficit. What is the, there is an increase in the maintenance fees that has happened. How much of the deficit has been covered from the increase in the maintenance fees? Because that's in any case passed to the residents. Okay, so while we are saying we move from deficit to surplus, how much is that being accounted for against the increase in maintenance? Second, I also see that there are a couple of expenses like net payable salary creditors. What is the breakup of this? It's a huge amount, which is around 15 lakhs. I don't see any breakup or any details of this. Second, I also see that you moved some capital expense to your OPEX. Like you've moved this DG repair. While you said that you have reduced the capital expenditure by 54 lakhs to your revised estimate to 22 lakhs. But you have moved your DG repair to electricity expense. So that's something which should be avoided, is my view. You should not move your capex to OPEX, and that to the electricity account. This is a wrong accounting. Second, I also see that here a lot of expenses like DG manpower, which is 1 lakh per month. While we are saying there is a DG maintenance cost, why this is accounted separately? So that's 1 lakh per month, which is too huge an amount. I think we should explain it with the bills or whatever explanation you want to present here. Plus, I see that while you said that you've reduced your capital expenditures, there are a lot of capital expenditures which was presented in the previous GBM, which will be done in a year, has not been done. So while we are saying in surplus, are we actually in surplus? Because we've deferred some expenditures as per this statement. So if you can answer point by point.
Thank you.
I'm Nikhil Sassani from Government Kingsway. My submission is that whatever the committee, because I was also part of that committee when Dr. Ushan Sahab and Shivastar were there. So whatever the recommendations we have taken, that should be implemented, number one. Number two, the discussion, since you wanted it should be a concise discussion. So basically when the Mr. Bhushan has raised the issue of the electricity, let us discuss this first and then go to the other heads. So this is my submission.
So let me first
My submission is there, the issue has been raised for the, whatever the committee report is there, whether it is to be implemented or not. If it is to be implemented, what is the timeline for that? And if it is not implemented, let us just freeze it up. And then let us go for the different various other heads. Instead of jumping to from one head to another. We will be wasting time.
So I think let's first answer this set of questions and then we move on to the next. I think, ma'am, can you please tell your name? No, thank you very much for raising these questions because. Yeah, thank you very much for raising the questions because this is exactly the kind of questions we need to come up here, and because the answers to these help us better inform our residents about things. So the first question is about how much did we get by increasing maintenance fee? So if we are showing a surplus of about 36 lakhs in maintenance budget, roughly about 22 to 23 lakhs of that, as you can say, come from the hike in maintenance fee. Okay, GST included. And the remaining 12 to 13 lakhs, you could say, is from an improved realization of past recoveries. We have also very aggressively pursued our non-maintenance revenue raising efforts. For instance, getting canopies and kiosks, where we almost doubled 100% additional achievement we had. I think we had targeted something around 2 lakhs, we had crossed past 3 lakhs. Everything, on all non-maintenance fee heads, we have crossed the limits and crossed what we had stated in the budget. So there is about 12 to 13 lakh improvement there. So that's the answer to your first question. Now second question is sundry creditors. I am very happy you brought up this issue. Last year when we took over, we had 27 lakhs on the list of sundry creditors. Now let me take 1 minute to explain who are part of the sundry creditors. Now how they get listed. So when we are finishing March, our invoices for our security, our housekeeping, the PP1, some share payments, the DC manpower payment that we shared between PP1 and us, those bills are not raised, right? They will be raised in the month of April 1st. So they get classified as sundry creditors because any payment due to them in the financial year, if it is not paid by 31st of March, then it gets listed as sundry creditors. Sorry? It's a cash basis.
That's why she's asking.
So if it is cash basis, the previous payment which was due, you moved from accrual to cash. So you're missing 1 month expenses. The earlier accounting was an accrual last year, as they mentioned.
I get the point. I'll explain why that has been done. First of all of you have been given the balance sheet, which follows the statutory norms of and the classifications. If you see there, if you take the sundry creditors list, you will get a figure of 27 lakhs for 23-24. You will get a figure of 12 lakh 30,000 for the year 24-25. Why is there this big difference? Because in the last year, almost 2 months fees for housekeeping, 2 months fees for security, and 2 months fee for manpower were paid in the financial year 24. What we have done, earlier all these bills used to be paid with a lag of 50 to 60 days. We have changed that practice. We try to clear off all our bills within 30 days. Because keeping liability on your books is not a good practice. Which is why, in the current year, we have paid everything that was due in FY 24-25 except for 3 bills. Only 3 bills. One is the housekeeping bill, which got raised last week, the security bill, and the DC manpower. So that is why we reduced the sundry creditors amount by that, and that had to be captured as a reduction in our expenditure on a cash basis. That is why it is the difference between what was due to sundry creditors last year and what is due to it now. That actually demonstrates the additional expenditure of last year that you
It's
incurred.
a wrong accounting, sir. I'm sorry to say, as per any standards that you pick up, I'll tell you, just let me give me one clue. The last 2 months accrual, which was there, was accounted as sundry creditors in the balance sheet last year. Am I right?
Yes.
So that was not accrual. They accounted the balances which were due in the balance sheet of 27 lakhs, which you paid in the financial year 25. Now while you are maintaining a cash balance, you are still moving it as a sundry creditor, keeping them due and adding 14 lakhs. There is a accounting difference of 14 lakhs, 13 lakhs in your balance sheet. Please correct that. There is a difference. Because आपने 27 पहले last year किया, I hope I'm making sense to both of you, right? So there is a difference. Please check that. I'm leaving that thought with you, but there is 100% difference of 13 lakhs in your account.
In the balance sheet, you would have taken the 27 lakhs in 24 balance sheet, the 24 balance sheet?
Yeah, I'm taking the difference between the
final
No, it is not difference. You are saying this amount is due.
See,
Is it a differential amount or it is a due amount?
It's a differential amount.
Differential of what?
All the two sundry creditors dues on two occasions.
So
I'll make it simple.
that balance sheet is already closed.
I'll simplify it. When I am spending, I'm paying for 1 month's fees of the previous year.
I understood.
In this
But
current year,
you-
how do I show that expenditure when I'm
You have to close that accounting. Either you moving from accrual to cash. You will have to do a backward reconciliation, which is not done here.
Balance sheet.
While you moved from accrual to cash basis, which is a good thing to do. I think that's the best way to present any, at least when you are in a BOM for 1 year, that's the best way to present the accounting. But since you changed the accounting method from accrual to cash basis, while the previous the management included everything on accrual, including the 2 months expenses which was not paid, you paid them in this year. Now, but you again back to sundry creditors with 14 lakhs showing a due. Right?
So if I get you right, in your view, if I am doing it in cash basis, this differential of 14 lakhs, I should not put it here.
Yes, you should.
And where should I show it?
No. So that's what I'm saying. I really don't know how you treated 27 lakhs. If it is a differential, 27 minus 13 is 14, what you put it here, then also it's wrong. If you are saying that you move to cash balance and still showing it as sundry creditors, then also it's wrong. It should be paid if you are on cash basis. If your accounting is on cash balance basis, you should not have dues on 31st March.
No, I'm happy to have a longer.
Because that's the only way that you can have cash balance, cash accounting.
You sound like you are in the profession where you understand these things
That's the
better
point.
because I am an economist. I take an income expenditure approach.
One approach. Please follow one approach, otherwise the balance sheet is getting distorted. It is not
Excellent, excellent. Now let me go down to the third point. Because that is a clarification. Why are we spending 1 lakh rupees on busy manpower? We have no option. This is the people, the manpower, which is maintained, engaged in running the DG room. It's a shared cost. PP1 pays 65%, we pay 35%. And I am with you when you say 1 lakh is very high, and it has been an ongoing negotiation with them. We haven't been successful because they charge us, they say they pay 3 lakhs, they produce 3 for that, and we have to pay 35%. So there is an issue which we have also struggled, and I will come to that brings me to the last point, the capital receipts. It is not the DC repairs, the numbers that you see, these are not they are not capital projects. They are regular chutput kharchas, which are of, in a way, kind of maintenance expenses. So they are current expenses. We have not moved anything from capital to there. We have not spent that 26 lakh 17,000 figure that you see because of an issue that we have not been able to resolve with PP1. When we charge, they came to us. There were few shared projects that had to go, namely installation of PNG kit. Cooling towers, gas ho gaya, or the third one is there are 3 or 4 projects on which they came to us and we took a provision in the budget. But later on, Colonel General in one of the meetings pointed out that we actually had an MOU with them in 2020 which obligated upon them that they have to spend up to 50 lakhs on their own on some of these shared things. Because of an understanding, we got a generator. Now they are not willing to honor that idea. So it is going back and forth, which is why we said until we find a resolution to this issue, we are not going to spend money on some of the shared.
We have a disconnect here, sir, a major one. Okay, let me tell you. You've put this as a DG repair in your capex, but you're saying since that capex was not 26, you moved it to OPEX because it was 6 lakhs. Okay, point.
No.
So it is mentioned here now. Your statement mentions DG room repair.
DG room repair, I am saying what is going in the electricity budget are all current expenses of current nature.
Okay. Now tell me one
capital projects, no money has been spent on DG room because of this ongoing dispute which we have not been able to resolve.
Understood.
We are holding on to all.
I understood. So that means these projects are on hold and not revoked.
Not revoked, absolutely.
Then it is not a surplus. Why? You have not.
I know where you are going.
Give me 1 minute, sir. Let me complete. Let me complete. Something which you have provisioned for and is not revoked is deferred or on hold. You cannot show it as zero. The provisioning has to be done. Why? Because the next management who will. Let me complete, sir. I'll give you a chance, please. I have a lot of patience to listen. So, the next BOM who will come, you will hand this over to them with a surplus. The fact of the matter is, the expense has not been incurred, put on hold, but very much required. Hence, the statement is completely wrong. You have to put it as capital provisioning on deferred.
Yeah, that's why I should put
This is not a surplus.
Okay, it's not a surplus. Otherwise, next the BOM will have a problem.
जो next BOM आएगा, suppose you were in that place, when the next BOM will come, they will show everything is deficient. Why? Because you have not done what was supposed to be done for reasons valid, known. I am not disputing the reasons. If there is a debate which is going on, fair, appreciated. But the fact of matter is that this expense is not revoked, or we as a together, as a society, have not decided not to incur it. It is on hold because of some dispute. So the provisioning of that expenditure should be done in the statement to give a clear P&L picture.
Okay.
Last
Suggestions, we take them on board.
Thank you. Very useful introduction.
Very good.
Now I think
I just have a point, Mr. President, with the treasurer. You have circulated a provisional balance sheet. Are you going to present and discuss, or it is just for the information purpose?
That's for information because
Okay,
this
right.
is a summary.
Now, thank you. Loud enough. When you have shown, I mean, firstly, nobody wants to take your credit away of showing surplus of X, Y, Z amount. But when you show this kind of a sheet, you please take this compliment that in past 14 years, no balance sheet has shown a surplus. But there is a reason here, no reason for clapping. There is a reason for it. The charging system has changed from the last, and I will like to quote the President what he said, that he has not been left any amount in the account even to clear the bills. That was the first area he held. That is the state of affairs in which the account was handed over to you. No need to discuss any further on that. But when you are showing that from FD you got so much, Mr. President made a mention that we doubled up the canopy charges, all very good things. Even the Airtel exchange, which was, I started off at 9 lakh per annum, must be paying more now for 9 years or something like that. But now, when you show this, don't you think it is good to show that this is the GST collection, this is the input credit I received, this is how I have settled the accounts. The entire input credit of your GST number has been observed by the SRWA. Alright, you have practically taken every pile of GST paid in your this thing, because now 92% of the flats are giving against 42% in last 3-4 years, because GST did start in today. So we as the residents who are now in this month paying 42,000 rupees to this office, which is the April bill for this quarter, we also deserve to know how much you earned out of it, how much you received out of it, what was the expenses at that time, how have you, because when we were increasing the maintenance charges, we had a very long discussion. We had a lot of justification coming from Secretary, but this is a time now to just, validate those points which you had put across. So I'm sure I've made my point.
Thank you.
So, Pushpe, there is a summary in the sheet which is circulated, the GST for the year which we have received. There is a summary there.
GST summary is not there. GST summary is not there.
Includes 27
Last
lakh
slide.
17,000.
I think there's some other printouts.
That was a GST.
We'll read it out.
GST.
We'll read it out. I think there's some error in terms of circulation.
It's not there.
GST
does not take into account final
नहीं वो
GST.
कुछ और दूसरा पेज
उसके ऊपर वाला?
No, your input credits not coming.
हाँ वो दूसरा पेज प्रिंट
Yeah, page per idea.
It's not there.
That is very important.
Yeah, it includes 27 lakh 17,000.
That is there, that's there. We can
That's
read
there.
that. We can read, but not the input
The
credit.
input credit, so we are carrying over, I don't know, we are carrying over an input credit of 5.8 lakhs.
5.3.
5.3 lakhs. I mean, we have the sheet here. The opening for 23-24 was 14 lakhs 60,000. Payable was 19,531. Net opening was 14 lakh 44,000. We had additional accrual in the current year of 27.17 lakhs. Total input was 41 41.61 lakh, and less liabilities during the year 36.22 lakhs, 23 lakhs. So we have a balance input that we are carrying forward of 5.38 lakhs.
I'm happy that you have taken up this point. I just want to take your mind back to the last GBM when most of us here said that please don't increase the maintenance or increase to the minimum so that we don't turn over the GST gamut. Your statement was that I have catered for that GST input credit in the works plan. We wish in the works plan. You had already made that. This must be because you had the camera, it must be on that. You are missing out that. Alright. So if you have catered for that GST input credit, it would be very nice to know how that money was spent.
Okay. In a way you can say the money has...
Not now. A paper could be circulated.
Yeah. Put it up.
This member,
इसका हिंदी में बोलूँ तो इशू GST पे काफी डिस्कशन हो गया है. We are getting the inputs but this is the money should be input credit should go to the members, and it is being practiced in so many societies. I have the papers from Sector 137, Royal Park. There is a regular practice. Whatsoever we get out of GST inputs, they pass on it to the members. Why not here? This is not the money of SRWA, definitely. Output जिसका है उसी का इनपुट है, तो उसको पास ऑन क्यों नहीं करते आप? अगर आपका मेंटेनेंस ज़्यादा है, उसको आप एक्सपेंडिचर करना चाहते हैं और आपका ज़्यादा आता है, you increase the maintenance charges. So we can't say our maintenance charges is 3 rupees per square feet. It is plus GST input. If you want to
देखिए इस सवाल का जवाब मैं बहुत बार दे चुका हूँ, ओपन हाउस में दे चुका हूँ, इनफॉर्मल मीटिंग्स में दे चुका हूँ, GBM में दे चुका हूँ, यूनियन मिनट्स के थ्रू दे चुका हूँ. फिर मैं दोबारा दोहराता हूँ. कॉन्टेक्स्ट क्या था? जब हम अगस्त 11 में जब आप बैठे, अगस्त 11 में जब हमने GBM प्रेजेंट किया था, तब हमने कहा था कि हम ये गोल में आने के बाद हमारे सामने एक ऐसा चीज आया पहले हमारे सामने नहीं था, वो है बिल्डिंग रिपेयर. और ये बिल्डिंग रिपेयर हमने पहले जो असेस किया था उससे कई ज्यादा बढ़ गया. ठीक है. और उस समय हमने ये कहा था कि ये GST करने के कारण हमें निश्चित रूप से एक फायदा होगा इन टर्म्स ऑफ सम एडिशनल मनी. ऐसा नाउ डॉक्टर श्रीवास्तव ने भी जो हमारे मीटिंग में कॉन्फ्रेंस इनवाइट की है, वो भी उन्होंने बहुत बार उठाया कि भाई ये जो है रिफंड होना चाहिए. इसके ऊपर लॉ क्या कहती है? लॉ का कोई प्रोविजन नहीं है कि GST रिफंड. कर्नल चंडल का बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग व्यू था कि कोई रिफंड का कोई सवाल नहीं उठना चाहिए. अभी भी है. ठीक है. और भी उनका मानना है कि भाई GST का जो आता है वो लॉ अलाउ नहीं करती है, वो सोसाइटी के साथ रहे और सोसाइटी का खर्चा करे. अब बात आती है कि सोसाइटी के पास अगर पैसा रहता है तो उसका खर्चा कैसे होगा, वो सोसाइटी डिसाइड करेगी. तो हमने यही बात दोबारा जब समझाए थे तो हमने कहा था कि भाई अब बिल्डिंग रिपेयर के काम लेने के बाद उसके बाद हमने देखा कि जिस तरह से बिल्डिंग रिपेयर हो रहा है ये तो एक्सटीरियर पेंट करना ही पड़ेगा हमको, और एक्सटीरियर पेंट के बहुत पैसा खर्चा होगा. तो अगर वो पैसा हम दोबारा लोगों से रेज करते हैं जैसे हमने 2020 में किया था, पेंटिंग के लिए अलग से पैसा रेज किया था, दोबारा उस पैसे के ऊपर लोग GST देंगे. ऑलरेडी मैं हायर मेंटेनेंस फी के सकते GST उन्होंने किया है, फिर मैं पेंटिंग के लिए पैसा उठाएंगे तो उसके ऊपर दोबारा आप GST दोगे. फिर आप कहोगे कि मेरे को मेंटेनेंस का GST रिफंड करो और लेकिन कैपिटल के ऊपर दोबारा GST दे दो. वही एक ही बात होगी कि भाई आप इस हाथ से आप अगर लोगे तो इस हाथ से देना पड़ेगा. तो इसीलिए हमने यहीं पे डिसाइड किया था, इसी फोरम से किया था कि वो GST पैसा रहेगा. उसके तहत हमारा जो मेंटेनेंस अकाउंट में जो सरप्लस क्रिएट होगा वो सरप्लस को हम कैपिटल में ट्रांसफर करेंगे सो दैट वी कैन फंड द पेंटिंग प्रोजेक्ट विदाउट पुटिंग एडिशनल बर्डन ऑन द रेसिडेंट्स. एंड दिस इज व्हाट एवरीबॉडी कैन एग्री. I think we have explained it at length through multiple minutes. I think we should put a stop to this debate and move ahead. Thank you very much.
एक्सक्यूज सर, मैं इसको दोबारा कहूँगा। देखिए पहले तो लॉ कौन सा है जो आपको बैन करता है? SRWA इज नो अथॉरिटी। ये सब मेंबर्स की बनाई हुई एक एसोसिएशन है। जो पैसा है या तो मेंबर्स का है, SRWA का कोई पैसा है नहीं। नंबर 1, मुझे नहीं पता कौन सा आपको प्रोहिबिट करता है। ऑलरेडी एक मिनट जस्ट
सर, लॉ प्रोहिबिट नहीं करता है। मैंने कहा लॉ डजंट प्रोवाइड फॉर रिफंड ऑफ जीएसटी।
देखिए इसमें आई मीन मैनी सोसाइटीज आर डूइंग इट। ऐसा नहीं है कि वो गलत कर रही हैं। मैं तो दे रहा हूँ, आपको एग्जाम्पल दे रहा हूँ। दे आर डूइंग इट। आई हैव द पेपर्स। नंबर 1, आप जो कह रहे हैं वो एब्सोल्यूट नहीं है। आई मीन दिस इज नॉट किसी एक्सपर्ट से आप एडवाइस लेते हैं। SRWA का कोई फंड नहीं होता। जो भी फंड होता है वो मेंबर्स का होता है। आपको पेंटिंग के लिए एक्स्ट्रा चाहिए, जिस चीज के लिए एक्स्ट्रा चाहिए कम फॉरवर्ड आप रखिएगा पारदर्शिता। ठीक है, 3 रुपए तो ये है और पेंटिंग का हम इतना एक्स्ट्रा लेंगे। वो एडिंग चार्जेस की आवश्यकता ही नहीं है उसका। आई मीन दिस इज माय ओपिनियन। ठीक है, नहीं कोई मानेगा, कोई दिक्कत नहीं मुझे, बट आई हैव द पेपर्स एंड द सोसाइटीज आर डूइंग इट। प्लीज रीथिंक अबाउट इट। नंबर 1। नंबर 2, रिगार्डिंग पेंटिंग, देखिए मैं आपको एक बात बताऊं, करीब 70 से 75% बिल्डिंग वेल है, अभी भी पेंटेड है।
हम पेंटिंग के बाद को जैसे
आपने इसमें ऐड किया, मैं इसलिए कह रहा हूँ।
इन्होंने प्रेसिडेंट साहब ने कहा कि इसके बाद
हाँ ठीक है,
पूरा बात
इट इज फाइन।
So I have one more question, but before I ask that, I think the repair work that this RW has done was very much needed. So thank you for taking that up. Paint and repair was something which our society needed. So all appreciation and applause to the RWA. I have one question. I would like you to please transparently share the breakup of office expense, club expense and material purchase, which are in your maintenance. That's a huge breakup of around 20 lakhs, 19 to 20 lakhs. Please share the account statement of these 3 heads. Thank you.
So, I mean, do you
have the balance sheet statement also, no? You have the balance. So that's, I think, can you give a copy of the provisional balance sheet also?
No, but it doesn't carry the breakups. I don't think you have an annexure for the
No.
accounts. No, that's not
We will
shared.
be happy to share as many details. Please let me, every subhead, little head, big head, everything has been accounted for. The only thing you have to understand that some of us may be lacking in some accounting expertise, and which is why I think in the next POM you should come on board.
Doesn't carry the.
That's a threat of appreciation. I mean, we want to work on appreciation. So, we'll give you.
No, it's not a burden, but I think my shoulders are not strong enough to carry that.
Appreciation.
Okay, thank you.
I'll reach that age one day.
So, is there any more questions on the financial statement?
What's the big head here?
This doesn't carry, please. This is not carrying the breakup. So,
No,
kindly share that.
We
No,
can
that's
also
okay.
burden
You
here.
can
We
send
can,
it separately.
actually we'll share it with everyone.
Yeah, please do
People
that.
have issues.
Because I am coming from a background of cutting 20,000 for carpenter services. I would like to know this heads. What are the? How can we actually adjust the 20,000? That's my ask. We want that service. How we can best adjust it, keeping the overall cash flow statement in
Let's
mind.
now first
Yeah,
we'll come to
please.
that. Now, are there any question on the financial statement? Yes, I've got.
I just
Good.
comment on. I'll just comment on what Takaji had said, and also some of the other issues. I think DD there has raised some relevant questions because the summary expense which you is in amalgam. It only, yeah, and I think the lady there has raised some relevant questions, but that is because she was looking at the summary statement that you presented, and that summary statement is, neither within quotes or cash. It basically should be on cash basis. Yeah. So, but there are some questions with respect to that. Maybe the balance sheet would clarify some of those issues, but those questions are very relevant as you already accepted. On what Thakurji has raised and on other issues, look, let's be very clear. The health and the finances of the society have improved. They have improved because you have been able to raise more revenue from items which you pointed out, because you have been able to cut expenses, and those must have been hard decisions, but you have been able to take them, and because maintenance expenditure, the charges increased, which of course provided you a major chunk. But I think what his concern is, and what Mr. Sharma's concern is, these two also need to be addressed alongside. You see, those are the obvious sources of revenue increase. But alongside his argument, it's not just a question of where you categorize the DG room manpower expenses. The question is, if you are categorizing DG room manpower expenses in the electricity books, and then you are using it to raise DG charges, then what you are doing is you are transferring money which was earlier being met out of maintenance to now money which is being met out of the DG rates. That's precisely. So basically this is yet another source of revenue increase which has occurred. Similarly, this question of DG, the GST issue. And the GST issue, as I have said again and again, and you said that you also stated, has to be broken into two parts. One part where only 1/3 of the flats are paying GST. And the second where 92% of the flats are paying GST. But what is happening now when 92% of the flats are paying GST is that the GST input credit is largely being absorbed into GST payments, which is why you don't have a line item of GST in your balance sheet also. It is largely being absorbed in the GST payment itself. Now here again, this is an item of revenue which is implicit. It's not an explicit item, but it is an implicit item. But the variation, the scenarios in which you raise GST and then you pay GST expenses out of the input tax credit need to be worked out so that residents are convinced that we are not charging, we are not raising maintenance expenditure or maintenance charges only to first levy GST and then to pay GST charges out of input tax credits. So I think these are the issues which perhaps we need to tackle. If not today, I think the BOs will need to tackle them. And the point that he is raising it, if you are raising maintenance charges, but say simultaneously if you are making a break with the past tradition of them creating a larger head of account in electricity and then using that to raise generator charges and then showing that there is a deficit, so tomorrow providing a rationale for the next BOM to further raise generator charges, then you are implicitly actually raising maintenance rates. I think that concern needs to be addressed. That is what I say, that the concern needs to be addressed. Because the past precedent was that you can have a separate item of account, but the past precedent was that the maintenance was being used to pay the manpower charges, the DG manpower charges.
No, I think both the issues that you raised are valid. They need a good look. Let's not forget, this is also a BOM other than Mr. Bhushan's BOM in 81, which has got the shortest duration. Shortest duration.
Going to continue.
Barely 9 months, and we had a lot on us. Believe me, we had a lot on us. It's very, people here they cannot say anything. Plaster वहाँ झड़ गया है, सरिया वहाँ गल गया है, and for everything they expect BOM members to go. Even if their bathroom is leaking, they expect BOM members to go and inspect.
So first they address me.
Anyway, I mean, we have taken up the responsibility. We don't mind doing that. But the points that you raised, Ravi, and what you raised, actually it gives us hope. It gives us hope in the sense we will have the guidance, and then, after this whole set of work comes under control, the next BOM perhaps can look at it. What we had promised when we took over was that we will also try and work on a clear roadmap for system. And I think we have just made a beginning. Before we relinquish office, we promise you we will give you some kind of a blueprint for the next BOMs to fall back upon. And in that, we will definitely be taking up some of these issues because these are also issues around sanctity, issues around institutional transparency, issues around the best practices. We'll put all of that. But trust me, in the last 9 months, there was so much to do that even though we knew that there are people who have serious differences on some of these issues and which need to be debated and discussed, not necessarily we agree with everything, but that is not the point. The point is the viewer should take every point of view that is expressed into consideration and examine its validity and then find a solution to move forward, which is what hopefully we will facilitate in the remaining 1 or 2 months that we are here, and then the next BOM should take it up and we will also be there to help the next BOM.
Just 2 points on this.
And I just want to make one clarification. The idea of presenting this, please understand also another thing. Never before in your SRWA meetings, by the second week of April, you have seen an annual financial statement. Okay? And we have been able to do it because we are very closely monitoring every cash outflow and every cash inflow, recording it, documenting it. Yet, there could be some discrepancies. The idea why we wanted to put it up so early is that so that people get a directional sense as to where we stand. And we could have done better by clarifying that, look, we have this surplus, but please remember, the painting project got delayed, the building repairs are carrying on, and there are obligations vis-a-vis PP1 which we have to fill up. So there is nothing to feel very good about this surplus.
That's why you will make the provisions.
Yes.
If you make the provisions, then things will be more clear.
That is
how a budget is done.
That is besides the reason why I so promptly took the suggestion on board. Okay. So I am not saying there is a great deal of cheer to be expressed around the surplus, but there is a great deal of relief that you can have that there is a very comfortable balance. Very comfortable balance, even if I take out...
Even capital budget, you can make it over a period of time. 3 years, we can make it for you.
Yeah, we will. I said,
that you can put in the budget. Every year we will have in the budget.
I said we will take it on board. Just to put it in perspective, even if I take into account 31 lakh rupees we spent less on the capital budget, even then 31 minus a surplus of 45 is still leaving me with 15 lakhs of surplus. Almost 3 times the surplus I had budgeted. At least 10 lakh additionally in the surplus is because of a lot of hard work that the BOM, and more than BOM, I would like to specifically commend our property manager Rajkumar. The way he has gone after people month after month, day after day, in America, in Europe, in Australia, pestering them with sir pay kar dijiye, sir pay kar dijiye. We recovered a lot of money.
Yes, I think if there are no further questions, we can...
Very quick point. On readiness on firefighting, you have not spent any money. Can you assure us that all firefighting systems are working and we are safe? When got the last testing? I have not seen any drill being carried out. No training has been done to people.
No, you are right. Last training we had almost a month ago, but they do it every week. This is what we told, and we are maintaining the trial.
That's the manpower training.
Yeah.
What about the system works functioning?
Yes, sir. We do. Yes, sir.
Are you checking it every day? Record is maintained?
Yes, sir.
Can I see a record?
Yes, sir.
Would like to see that. And the signature who has done it, so that responsibility can be pinpointed. And the last point. FDs. You have shown me some new FDs have been, some money has gone. So there is a mismatch between the figure what you have said and the figure what you have given here.
What is the figure?
Here it says your FDs have increased from 680 to 2166. That's about 14 lakh increase in Kotak Mahindra Bank water. How it is that? So we see the cash has been reduced, so probably we have put it from there to there, right? But then SBI maintenance saving plus 7 odd lakhs have got
done away.
What happened to the money?
Spent on maintenance.
No, you have brought it, you have merged it there.
That's why you have that entry net cash transfer to FD.
In that case, there is an account called Capital Kotak Bank. 24 lakhs are there. From where that money has come?
This year.
Where? The same money, 21.
No.
You are talking about cash. bank account.
Yes, I'm telling you. We had a budgeted projection of 19.9 lakhs or close to 20 lakhs to raise from corpus. That's sitting there. When you pay, wherever you pay, Indian Bank or whatever, when we have a healthy cash balance, we move that money to Kotak because if you remember, we switched to what is called a 7% active money account with Kotak. So because why your 14 lakh, that water was lying in savings bank account earning 2.4%. Say SB, we moved it to Kotak for a 7.4% interest rate, right? Okay, now let me also share with you, because in this context, so this is fine. So it is absolutely fine. All the money that we raised on account of corpus, we raised on account of NOC, which comes to Indian Bank, some pay in Kotak Bank, but we move it all to Kotak Bank because there we earn much higher interest. So that's why you have that healthy balance there, and because we have
the new account.
Yeah,
Kotak is a new account.
I know you had a point that if you open a new account, you should take the GBM settlement.
But you are going to
No, capital was a new account. He's right. So maintenance, water, electricity, payroll. Okay, one more question. I think Ms. Shah has raised it. I don't know if she's here. We also had the debate, why are we shifting from Indian Bank to Kotak Bank? And I had also explained that with a detailed note and also talking about the viability of different banks. She wanted to know what is the gain that we have had. In the last years, we raised about 2.21 lakhs to savings bank interest. This year, we have raised 3.63 lakh, a difference of 1.4 lakh. And please remember, this arrangement of switching to active money account with Kotak came into force from November. It's a 5-month impact. Full month impact is about 3 lakhs.
I take it that there are no more questions on the financial statement.
Not financial. Not financial, but I'm just, as a member, I'm perpetually worried about, have been since 2011, about our per square foot rates not going up for a very long time. Our flats, the value of the flats was not going up, and I was very pleasantly surprised that in the last 2 years I heard that people were buying, our flats were being valued more in the market, and I see the extent of repairs that's going on, and my sense is that it's very substantial, it was needed. But Rajesh, what I want to know from you is that what is your estimate? How long will these repairs last? Is it going to go forward? Is it going to take us forward for the next 10 years, 5 years? Because for me that's important. If I want to sell my flat and leave, I don't want to lose money. So that's important for me.
Thank you. I think that is a question which we will address at the end.
Okay.
So now we move on to the next item.
Ashok can give you better response for a fee.
I'm very
He's a professional wealth manager.
because these things have not lasted for very long.
No, she is asking an operational question about the actual finishing and the actual. So we now move on to the next item on the agenda, which is we have to agree on an election officer who will conduct the next elections. So I would like to invite some suggestions on that from the members here. Yes, Dr. Sai.
I propose Mr. Mahapatra.
No, I can't be. I'm an office player.
You can't what?
You can. I can't be.
But afterwards you can, I mean,
You can't.
yeah.
I can be. Radharani, will you? Radharani probably has.
So we are taking only the...
Yeah, we had a very good election last year. Let us just continue. Monojit was the election officer. Very well for both.
I don't think, sir, the issue is here for the election officer. Manjot has done a good job. He can continue if he wishes to do so. There are points about the conduct of the election which you had circulated, that there is a new policy and all this thing. This need to be discussed. Selection of the election officer, we leave it to you. I think the House will agree to it. Whoever you say, it's a fair job. Anyway, thank you.
So there are these two proposals. And so I think one of the members has suggested that we should continue with the election officer for the previous elections, and I think one more member has given the opinion that yes, this should be so. Is there anyone else who has any views?
Is he willing to take calls?
No. First we must decide what we want to do, and then we have to approach the person concerned. Mr. Manojit Manjumdar, firstly, some appreciation has been shown. And as the BOM and myself personally, we would endorse that. So we would like you to continue this election.
I think everybody knows the situation here. Like some people may be new, so I just repeat one or two things. माफ कीजिएगा. पहली बात तो ये जो कई बार मैं बोल चुका हूँ और सब किसी को पता है कि इलेक्शन ऑफिसर का हमारे लॉ में कोई प्रोविजन ही नहीं है. इट्स अ कम्प्लीटली इलीगल पोजीशन. इलीगल नहीं, देयर इज नो प्रोविजन, देयर इज नो प्रोविजन. हाँ, तो इसलिए इलेक्शन ऑफिसर जो गढ़ल साहब बोल रहे हैं या और लोग बोल रहे हैं कि भाई क्या रूल्स फॉलो करेगा या क्या पावर्स है नहीं है, इसका कोई आधार ही नहीं है. क्योंकि ना तो यूपी अपार्टमेंट एक्ट 2010 या फिर जो हमारे बायलॉज हैं जो हमने 2019 में फॉर्मली अडॉप्ट किए, विच आर आइडेंटिकल विद द मॉडल बायलॉज यूपी गवर्नमेंट ने 2011 में जारी किए थे और हमने 8 साल के बाद अडॉप्ट किए. वो जो है उसमें कोई भी मेंशन नहीं इलेक्शन ऑफिसर. नंबर 1. नंबर 2, ये जो लॉ है ये काफी टाइट लॉ है. हाँ, जैसे ये सज्जन बोल रहे थे कि SRWA है हमारा, वो ठीक है, जो डिसाइड करेगा वही है. दूसरे कॉन्टेक्स्ट में ऐसा नहीं है. उस लॉ को आप पढ़ेंगे, वो लॉ वेरी क्लियरली सेज कि नो चेंज और डिविएशन इज परमिसिबल विदाउट प्रायर अप्रूवल ऑफ द कॉम्पिटेंट अथॉरिटी. कॉम्पिटेंट अथॉरिटी कौन है? सरकार है. आप सरकार के पास जाइए और फिर घूमते रहिए. सो देयरफॉर इलेक्शन ऑफिसर का जो अस्तित्व है और सब कुछ है, ये एवरीथिंग इज डिपेंडेंट ऑन दिस जनरल बॉडी. जो ये डिसाइड करेगी वही है. इलेक्शन ऑफिसर जो है वो रिस्पॉन्सिबल इस जनरल बॉडी को है. तो इसलिए इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट यूनानिमिटी हो, कॉन्फिडेंस हो जनरल बॉडी को, और जनरल बॉडी से ये अश्योरेंस मिले कि इलेक्शन ऑफिसर जो भी करेगा एज लॉन्ग एज इट फॉलोज प्रेसिडेंट, फेयरनेस, ट्रांसपेरेंसी, जो फंडामेंटल एस्पेक्ट्स हैं बिल्कुल किसी भी डेमोक्रेटिक प्रोसेस के, जब तक वो हो उसमें कोई सवाल नहीं उठना चाहिए. दैट इज रियली इंपॉर्टेंट. तो वो अश्योरेंस अगर है तो कोई डिफिकल्टी नहीं है, क्योंकि मतलब ये बड़ा अजीब मामला है. हाँ, सो दिस इज पॉइंट नंबर 1 व्हिच आई लाइक टू मेक. अगर मुझे मतलब ये मतलब आप लोग कह रहे हैं अगर करना है तो करेंगे, तो दैट इज व्हाट इट इज. पॉइंट नंबर 2, व्हाट ही इज रेजिंग अबाउट द न्यू, मतलब जो हम प्लान कर रहे हैं, ये तो अब चल रहा है. अब थोड़ी गलती मेरी भी है, मैं रिपोर्ट लिख रहा था लेकिन वो ज़्यादा टाइम लग गया, वो कंप्लीट नहीं कर पाया, फिर वो पूरी तरह सर्कुलेट नहीं हो पाया है. तो मेरे ख्याल से बीओ जो करेगी, मैंने एक पहला ड्राफ्ट दिया, और भी लोग हैं जो उस कमेटी में हैं, वो देखेंगे, फिर जो होगा तो वो मेरे ख्याल से आएगा. मेरा ख्याल है कि अगर हमको उसमें, मुझे लगता है कि बहुत बड़ा चेंज करने का स्कोप है हमारे पास. तो अगर हमको जो भी है उसको अगर फॉलो करना है तो फिर आपको इलेक्शन थोड़ा डेफर करना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि टाइम मतलब कुछ समय देना पड़ेगा, या फिर उसको पोस्टपोन कीजिए उस एक्सरसाइज को। चुनाव जिस तरह होते आए हैं 2019 में जो मोर और लेस जो सेट हो गया था उसी तरह चला है, उसमें कोई चेंज करने की ना जरूरत है और ना चेंज कर सकते हैं। एज फार एज आई एम कंसर्न कोई अधिकार नहीं है मुझे या किसी भी इलेक्शन ऑफिसर को उसमें कोई रत्ती भर का चेंज करने का अधिकार नहीं, अब नहीं कर सकते। सो ये है पोजीशन। अब इसके बाद मतलब
well, firstly thank you very much for accepting the
दो बातें इन्होंने कही। One is there is no law. The law is part of the UP Apartment Act. The election needs to be conducted every year. Right? What we are worried here today is something which is known as SOP. मैं कोई लॉ लिखने को नहीं बोल रहा। कंडक्ट ऑफ इलेक्शन कब आप फॉर्म सर्कुलेट करेंगे, कब क्या होगा, दैट्स एन स्टैंडिंग। थर्ड थिंग, डिसीजन कौन लेगा उसके ऊपर? It is the people who are sitting here.
Absolutely.
So there is already a point in agenda about the proxy vote. President might allow this point, it can be discussed here today, but the way you have conducted from 2009 or 19 onwards, the way it has been conducted, and before that, I don't think ever there was any government in the It's the same thing. It just needs to be reduced in 2 days standing operating procedure so that you don't get that privilege. I'm sorry to say that कि जो मैं कर रहा हूँ उसको कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं करेगा, हम क्वेश्चन करेंगे एसओपी के ऊपर। If you deviate from these standing operating,
बिल्कुल आप बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं।
So you don't mind my saying that privilege नहीं है, privilege आपको है to within that framework, and that framework has been liquidated from one BOM to another the way it has suited to people. Today BOM should take this consent by post, that the SOP will go to you, please give your consent so that you submit. And when you object to something, please give your suggestion. That's my
There is a procedure for conduct of election which is the guideline, which is a 3 or 4 pages document which has been followed in last so many elections. You have a look at it. I don't see that. So that procedure exists. There is the office. I got a copy.
Can I inform the House? I think all of us should be grateful to Manoj. We requested him organizers. Can you hear me? Yeah. So we requested him, and we put it in our BOM minutes also, that given your experience, if you can, the promise that we had made, that we will look at all streamlining the distribution, and he kindly agreed. I'm happy to inform the House that he has put together an excellent compilation of how the entire debate around elections has evolved right from the inception of the society till date. So he has documented it, captured it as a reference very well. Okay, you will soon get to see, because the breach of privilege, because there is a committee that we have set up. He is going to take that, share it with the committee, and the committee will meet. Committee, as you know, comprises Dr. I.V. Singh and AVM Rajiv Mittal. The problem was AVM Mittal has been traveling, so we have kind of put on hold. When they come back under the general guidance of Mr. Govind Sankar Ghosh, founder president, they will sit and then they will come up with a proper, as you were saying, proper guidelines in view of how the debate has evolved over the last 15 years, and take into account all the concerns and suggestions that have come over the past. So let us hold our patience, let the committee make its recommendation, and let the elections be held according to the committee. Okay? Fine.
Do we have a date?
We will. It is all depends on the AVM Mittal when he comes back.
He's back.
Asking for a date for the election.
Date of election.
That let the election officer decide.
It has to be decided by the election officer.
Yes, that might give you. Election officer doesn't decide the date.
No.
GBM.
Election officer.
GBM. Date is GBM.
Please check the minutes.
He does the scheduling, what to be done when.
Date of election is to be announced.
GBM.
Date is GBM, 100%.
Time they can decide कर लीजिए.
Tentative date decided. 1 or 2 days here and there.
Within a month of the last year, right?
You give a week.
When you started?
देखिए अंडर द लॉ जो हमारा
Started in July.
जो हमारा लॉ या प्रैक्टिस जो भी है वो 1 महीने का टाइम देता है. हाँ, तो अगर आज जीबीएम है तो 1 महीना तो आप ऐसे ही ऐड कर दीजिए. हाँ, तो 40
the current UM's tenure began on June 17th. So you have time to elect a new DA by June 17th. You can.
I want to say that
Act says first quarter of the financial. It's better to do it.
I want to make a comment. It is simply this. I see lots of emails, etc. moving around. As you are saying, elections have been held for so many years. It's not a problem. They are all together. And I think we should not ask any doubts, any questions on anybody or the process and get together. So, my only wish is that once this process is started, again people start writing and questioning. Every time there has been a proxy vote, what's the problem? Why is he raising things again and again and again and again? Year after year after year, POF change, people change, doesn't matter. This is not so important. We have to work together. So I just want to express a feeling. I don't want amongst us people asking accusations, aspersions, questioning credibility, etc. etc. So I thought I just made this statement. We are all senior citizens.
I just want to reinforce what
Rajkumar is not down.
This one is not. Neither of them are. So I just want to. Sorry, I still have a slight cough. Otherwise, I lectured 1 or 2. But I just want to reinforce what you say. But with an additional caveat. You know, not only our country, but societies around us are moving in a direction to ensure maximum participation of members in elections, in decision making, in bodies. And for example, I am a member of a society which has similar number of apartments in Bangalore, and there they open the voting. Everything is done through like we have my gate, they have Adda. The entire voting is supervised, is done through Adda. They open the provisions, people vote, people sitting in the USA, people sitting in UK, people sitting in Australia, people sitting at home, vote. The vote is opened at 9 AM on such and such date, it closes after 48 hours or 72 hours on such and such date. Everybody who is sitting wherever votes, and that is the end of it. And it ensures an 80%, 85% participation in all major decisions, not only elections. Very good. We should move in a direction where we are talking about how everyone can participate, not how we can restrict participation.
गौरी घोष जी, आप कुछ कहना चाहते हैं? बोलो, बोलो.
I think my voice has become a little low. I think
Sir, this might get also got the voting.
they all have.
They have a voting.
They all have.
This is the most convenient. No, we can always take it.
Manojit has already compiled the development, but I want to give a little bit of background history of how the first society election rules and regulations were formed for the election. It was done on an evening sitting on my computer, and then possibly it was a little bit of correction was done by Amitabh, and then we presented it and it was accepted in the GBM. The main focus on what is the process, as Chandran said, that means how many days will take, how many days will honor, but there was no restriction. There was no restriction on proxy at the time. It was simply said that how proxy to be given. Now that created a lot of problem because somebody came with 35 proxies in the pocket. You know, and that created a lot of confusion also. Now I was Ankur, when he revised and he formed this new association law, he discussed, and the suggestion was to reduce to 4. And as mentioned by Manojit, I agree with it, that it may not be anything in the law, but it is a process, we are all agreeing, that how you follow for without any confusions, a proper election. And what Deepak said, I think I agree. So far, nobody complained about any election problems. Now, the last statement which Ravi made, I am also a member of a huge society in Calcutta, which nearly 3,000 members, is a huge society, and we do exactly through ADDA the same polling electronically for 3 days, and their election is coming next month, and I will vote sitting here. And without any proxy, just you open the computer, you will be given a code number, and you will give your flat number and open it.
It's a good idea.
You know, it has been done. Now this has been done in
it's the best idea.
Mr. President, there is also a costlier methodology, as you know, like we do through the Delhi Gymkhana and others, where a company takes over and gives you a secret code and give you a secret entry ID. We should not go into that because that will be an unnecessary expenditure. I think we should follow the ADDA methodology. My last suggestion, you formed a committee, you discussed with me. I never realized what is the urgency of changing it just before this election. And that is what I echo what Deepak has also said. That so far it is going to, and secondly, to create debate and you will not be able to complete in time. It needs an open discussions in the GBM and others. So what I would suggest, that in fact it was suggested by our newly elected election officer also, that continue the way we have done so far, but try to shift towards the ADDA. We should take a few time, but we are in the again MyGate, so we have to decide. I suggested to introduce ADDA in the beginning, but MyGate was introduced. So these are the number of things here. My recommendation would be there that don't dissent it up. We continue what has been done so far today, and then we do it.
Thank you.
MyGate has free. Full application is there.
Please, no cross talk. So, thank you very much, Mr. Founding President. You've spoken with a great deal of wisdom, as have the others on this issue. The first point is that, as the newly appointed election officer has pointed out, there are many complications which emanate from the law, the resilience of the law, and so on. And the technical position is that this committee, which has been charged with studying those things, these complicated issues, has yet to consider what the first draft produced by Manojit is. And then they have to arrive at a position in which I presume they will take into account the views of the BOM the views of members in fact. You should participate by sending any suggestions that you have to the committee and they will consider it. As Mr. Ghosh has said, this process cannot be completed within a very short period unless Manojit, you are confident that you can do it within a week, fine. Otherwise, I think this is a very wise and practical suggestion that we continue with the old system, the old processes, and as and when the committee comes up with a considered view, we can look at that, and we will come to if there are any changes required, we can consider it. Okay? Is that a good way of looking at it?
Yeah.
I think that member wants a samosa, not asking a question.
I think if we can move to voting electronically, I think that is without doubt the best option.
Yes.
But what we have to do is figure out how much it costs. And then
yes.
That is all that.
So this is something you will consider in the committee.
So then we can jump the report. We just say that this is what we do.
Yeah. So it is agreed. So now, I think with that we can come.
I have one question, sir.
Yes.
So why the carpenter service has been discontinued?
Just a second. We have not just finished this agenda.
I'll wait for that answer.
Please.
So,
yeah.
So there's a point.
On the election.
When you are making this document, could we have the GBM's view in that next year on what happens that we only wake up for the elections when the elections come. So next year I'm sure we'll have the same discussion, electronic, re-looking at the rules, this thing. Can we decide today that the elections starting from 25-26 will be electronic? Can we all vote for it today? Yes. Or we still have 1 year open? Yes. So can we record this please? Yes.
It doesn't cost very much. कब्र में पैर चला जाता है तब हम कहते हैं इलेक्शन के क्या होगा?
Okay. So I think we come to the end of this particular agenda item. Then I'm told by the secretary that on the next item of on the agenda, which is any other matters, he would like to speak first.
It's very important issue. Very important. You derive the power to spend money based on approved budget. We are in next financial year. How are you spending money?
So, first, before that, you have to think house. The BOM had taken a decision that the way we levy penalty now is not a very progressive penalty system. We understand that electricity is a pass-through account, so therefore we have a very stiff penalty. We have first week 100 rupees, delay by 2 weeks, 200 rupees, delay by 3 weeks, and ever 300 rupees. But there is no sense in putting that kind of a levy on purpose of maintenance charges. So this can apply to electricity and water, which are pass-through accounts. So the BOM has taken a view that what everybody does, the most prudent practice is 18% on a reducing balance rather than 3%, which amounts to an exorbitant amount. And it also creates problems. For some reason, somebody is not able to pay maintenance, but wants to come back at some point in time clear the books. He has such a huge penalty that he starts leaking. So we propose that what everybody else does, and almost every organization also, any delay in payment of maintenance or purpose charges should be subject to a penal interest of 18% on a daily reducing balance. That is what the BOM has taken in. Is the house agreeing to it?
What is the aim of penalty? Aim of penalty is to ensure that people remember and pay in time. Why nobody misses out the credit card payment penalty? Because of punitive interest is paid. And that is why it was from 18% it has increased to 3%. So therefore I feel that it should continue. Nobody is that busy that he can think of payment.
See, you have already given the good recovery of 9 lakh rupees from back pay. Whoever is not paid. Why we want to increase the liability for the next person, next BOM? Let's have that value attached that it's like a punishment to a person not paying.
No, this, so look, the BOM has taken this decision. It is
recommending it to the
GBM, and the basis for this is that this is a good time to do it, to encourage compliance, because on the maintenance and corpus, we have almost succeeded in recovering nearly 95% of the outstanding dues except for 4 flats. 3 of which, one of which we are in a dispute, and 2 others, all of you know, for getting Tower 1, and a 4th house, where the owner stays in the US, we are pursuing him, we might also clear. So except for the 3 chronic defaulters, we literally have nothing now outstanding against anybody. So I think this as a sign, it's a goodwill gesture, it's a good thing to say that we are now making the penalty fee or maintenance charges a reasonable fee. And I think 80% is also still a good penalty.
See, goodwill charges are for the people who are not paying. Goodwill charges is not for the people like you and me who are paying on first day.
No, sir.
Okay, it's only a feel-good factor that those who are not paying will now pay 18%. Just a minute, let me just complete it. So when you are reducing it, are you very sure that next year it will not go back to where you had started? Are you sure that it will not go back to from where you had started? Let it be where it is. Let it be a punitive action.
I think it's a wrong way of looking at it. Let me say this, that we live in a society. If somebody defaults in maintenance, to conclude that that person is a habitual defaulter would be wrong. There are people who come up with difficulties. It's a senior citizen society.
I think we should have a voting by raising hands.
So I think it's a decision the BOM has thought through it, and it wants to reduce the penal rate to 18%. It will result in better compliance because the BOM
has already done it. Then why are we talking here?
We are seeking the GBM's consent.
Yeah, so let's raise hands. Those who want.
What is the proposal?
We are reducing the penal fee on maintenance from the current 3% per month rate to 18%, reducing daily balance.
18% per annum.
18% daily balance, calculated on a daily balance basis. Per annum, calculated on a daily basis.
I think it's
I think we have a majority in support. Thank you.
No, you are.
If you don't believe what I said, let the people raise their hands again who are for this.
One second, I want to say something before you take a vote. Can I say something before you take a vote?
We don't want to judge.
No, I have repeatedly in the past 3 years requested visibility of voting. I mean, here a show of hands to me is not adequate. There are many more members who have not come for the meeting. So 3 years I have been talking about using my gate to propose things, get a written feedback and then implement it. Nobody seems to take that seriously. You know, whether it is removing the carpenter, whether it is reducing or adding rates, anything. Make it not a circular that goes on to the house because the house will be vacant at that moment, people will be out. Why can't we put it on my gate? Like PP1 does. Why can't we do like that?
I think we are right now, let us take this specific point which will be repeated by the secretary on what the proposal is, and we vote on it as has been demanded.
No, I think I don't think a vote is needed. Frankly, I would request look, the point here is compliance, and the fact is that we need a penal rate of interest to deter people from doing it. If you have a rate of interest which is more than twice the market, see what will people consider fair is a market rate of interest. If you are charging people a penal rate which is more than twice the market rate of interest, that is clearly a penal rate of interest. If you charge somebody 4 times, 3 times, 3.5 times the market rate of interest, then it is also a deterrent for them to comply. They will refuse to comply, and the abuse will keep piling. So we have to be very reasonable at that point at which you want to introduce the element of penalty and deterrence, without making it a point where people, at the point of inflection, people refuse to comply because itna zyada interest ho gaya and prefer to go to the court of law.
Please, one at a time.
And if you go to the court of law, no court of law of yours will stand up to clear this kind of interest rate, 40% interest rate. So let us be reasonable.
Yes.
I think deterrence is important.
I think Radharani.
I don't think a vote is needed on issues like this.
I completely agree with what you said, sir, because this is what any behavioral scientist will say. Because it should not reach a point of no return where somebody cannot do it anymore.
Yes.
So I think I think we are being very defensive. The point is that the chronic defaulters are willful defaulters, and probably that's what sir is trying to say. And the deterrent has to be legal, but the deterrent has to be clear. We cannot be defensive about the deterrent. So let's decide that what is the legal and the reasonable deterrent. And we have to, the maintenance not being able to pay is, we have to pay our bills on time. So there is no question about it.
Dr. IBC,
yes. I am of the opinion that if I deposit the amount in time, maybe half or 3/4, then on that there should be no interest, optional interest. Whatever amount I delay, on that any interest you can fix. I think that is the way. And moreover, maintenance is done every month. So payment should also be taken every month. Invoice is raised in the beginning, okay. But why should I pay in the beginning itself? That is my.
Sir, I have one point. What is the impact here? What are we discussing? How many are the defaulters? By reducing it from 18 to 84%, what are we using here? Are we debating for 10,000 or 20,000 rupees here? Can I understand the impact? So let's not waste each other's time. If it is only about 20,000 in a month, why are we even debating on the point? If we reduce it from 24 to 18,000, I don't think it is worth the time.
So how many defaulters are there?
That's what I'm saying. Let's understand the impact. I think even if you reduce to 80%, this is fine.
This was basically a case of experience.
Payment is quite.
We had this difficulty. We came across a lot of cases. People have just forgotten. We found a lot of people are making regular payments. But there is some corpus collection.
Absolutely fine, sir. What you decided is absolutely fine. What is the impact? If we don't do it, I think we're losing 20,000, 10,000. It's absolutely fine. If we get daily newspaper.
So, excuse me, please may we have silence. I think the lady is right. This is not a point on which we need to spend too much time. So, there is a proposal on the floor of the House from the Secretary. It is up to you to say yes or no. If there are dissenting voices, there is a demand for a vote. If there is no dissenting voices, you take it as carried. And you have to make a judgment.
Not to be reduced.
Huh?
Not to be reduced.
Okay, so it is accepted.
No, I thought there should be a vote. If you want a vote, then there will be a vote.
Should be reduced or not? Because what are we doing?
Those who are in favor of switching to 18% reducing balance, please raise your hand.
Please, someone come.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29.
Okay, now those who are against it, please raise your hand.
30.
1,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9.
So the proposal is carried.
9, 10.
Sir, I have a point here. I'm sorry, without your permission, I'm saying this. What ma'am mentioned, we should actually have a Google form or a voting system, sir. Why we're doing is it is too orthodox and too, I think, prone to errors. Let's move to electronic Google forms. They're easy forms created just in a minute. Whatever we want to decide, this BM or the next BM, let's be very transparent on our decisions so that tomorrow nobody come and questions the BM. That boss, you've taken a decision unilaterally as a bureaucratic way and opinions from residents were not taken. Let's today decide that whatever we are going to decide, it will be done. So whichever platform we want to use, platform we can...
WhatsApp voting is very convenient. So just a second.
So platform is okay, but everything that we decide should not be done in a bureaucratic manner. As sir said, we all are residents, participative residents. Let's have voting and be very transparent so that even the BUM is not questioned.
Sorry, can I say
No,
something?
they don't require a BUM.
I think many of us have already argued that there should be a voting system in which everybody can participate, and if you can have an electronic voting system to do it, it's very good. But I want to now also say that we should not consider the other extreme, which is that reduce the powers of the BUM, any BUM, to zero. But the BUM cannot do anything, everything should be put on vote. If they want a security guard to be removed, put on vote. If there are concerns, yes, put it on vote. If there are significant concerns, put it on vote. But otherwise, any BUM will only be conducting electronic voting on every small that cannot happen.
So the new dates are applicable from
Yes.
I just had one fundamental question that a lot of other people with maybe on the mind, it just came up towards the end, that I think maybe as a society, we are not sure, we are not clear where democracy, where not. How much democracy, how much not. In what areas not. So where is consensus required? Where do I need to have my voice heard? Where not? I think if we can have some fundamental agreement on that, otherwise everything will come either crashing down in the daily WhatsApp messages, or it will transfer from one meeting like this to another.
Thank you, thank you.
कहाँ democracy चाहिए, कहाँ नहीं, कहाँ consensus चाहिए, कहाँ नहीं, कुछ सर पैर नहीं है इसका.
So let me, yes.
So there has been some expressions from some senior citizens who are not tech savvy. Is there an option of doing paper for those people?
For the election, yes. So I think that is a very valid fundamental question which has been raised, and I would urge all of you to please read the UP Apartments Act and the bylaws. It spells out what are the powers of the BOM, what are the powers of the GBM, and everything will become clear from that. I don't think we need to debate this over here. Okay? Do you have any comments?
No. Except that I think two issues. The issue of Diamond Festival says we have ceased of the matter. A lot of people have shared their reactions with us. We are going to revisit the issue.
Which one?
The carpenters issue.
Yes. We are taking on board.
So we have received a lot of feedback, and we are going to revisit.
One point I forgot on there's only an additional point of this thing on the penalties. If you work in public finance, as I did for some time, there's something called the roughness curve, where the higher the taxes, the less the compliance. When you bring it to a reasonable level, the compliance is much better, and that has been proved by the finances of the Government of India, where when we introduced this reform, the tax compliance went up. Okay? So that is... Yes, you want to say something on public policy?
No, not public policy. There's just one little thing, I don't know if there is a forum for this.
On election?
On election, just because we're talking of penalties, that's why.
Yes, yeah.
You raised
Yeah,
it.
please.
Yeah.
I just
Because
put it.
you are not the election officer.
Yeah, I just put it before the GBM. I think people can decide. So, on the experience of last year, we realized that, see, there's only one disqualification that is prescribed in the law, which is default of. And there is a, last day of the previous year, ऐसे कुछ है, something like that. Now, there were a couple of cases which came wherein the member came and said that, I'd like to vote, I have cleared the dues, but I have not cleared the penalty. Now, this is a sort of a, in my understanding, the dues should also include the penalty, and if it does not, then we should take a call on this, because this comes down to finally deciding whether the person is allowed to vote or not. So this is one thing which I think we need to decide before we have this election.
So, typically the practice, I think the BOM actually decides on this. So, we take it along and we make a communications in this regard. And I think technically what was being suggested that we should just have a 1 month's window, a little over 1 month's window. So, since May, 20th May, by 20th May, because we will also be doing certain other things. 20th May sounds good. Before 20th May, we set that and leave it with the election officer to make a fixed date.
I think we need not fix the exact date. We will let us give a band. Let the election also have the discussion after considering what preparation he has to make. I think the broad idea is we should look at the last week of May. Okay?
So now coming to, we'll just take up Vini's question, which remained unanswered, and then we'll move over to the pending subject. Now, your question was, when are we going to look like other societies? When are our property values are going to come on par with ATS or others? So,
not other societies. I just want a reasonable estimate that the money that is being spent on repairs, which seems substantial, how long is it going to last? It should last 3 years, 4 years, or is it going to be 10 years? I mean, I need to understand this.
After 3 years, we have to go for that. What I can say, I'm not an engineer or an expert, but we, within our means, whatever we could do to ensure that they are carried out, in a way that they last for a considerable period of time. Rajkumar can shout out and say,
is there
ये प्लास्टर कब तक ठीक ठाक रहेगा भैया? बताओ, गारंटी दो, राजकुमार की गारंटी।
Guarantee की बात नहीं है. I'm not asking for guarantees, but just a ballpark. There's no point in getting into.
I think we went into it. I guess you should. See, it all depends. It also depends on the residents' behavior. If residents continue to put wet towels, wet linens on balcony, if residents continue to put keep throwing water into everybody's balcony, if residents continue, we have started, because residents were not doing, so we have started now quarterly. We go and what do you call it? Routing of balconies. Residents, you see, we have explained this, a major part of this problem is also the way residents handle things. Our Tower 7 was one of the worst affected. And partly the reason was, certain things were not addressed for years. So, residents will have to take care of their building, this building. We are doing our best to facilitate that. We have now got to see what happened in 2020. We spent so much money on painting, right? But it bore up because there were the plaster things were not addressed. So at least we have gone halfway this time. A good chunk of it is now going to have a good plaster base. So you will not have the problem of having spent 85 lakhs and 3 years, 4 years down the line, the buildings are done. So this time I am hoping, I cannot guarantee, or we cannot guarantee, but though we have moved in the right direction. First, addressing the plaster work, addressing all the repair works to the extent possible. There would still be issues because our drills are all very bad and all that. But I think, and we also therefore haven't gone for a paint with 8-year guarantee. Because first time we went for a paint with 10-year guarantee. In 4 or 5 years time it had to be replaced. Second time we went on an 8-year warranty. So we said, boss, there is no point paying extra money for that. So we have therefore settled for 5+1, 6-year warranty. And that is why we could bargain a much cheaper price. 5 years ago, you had spent 85 lakhs. 5 years later, notwithstanding the inflation, we have negotiated a deal for 50 lakhs at a much lower rate. You get 7.75 per square feet 5 years ago. We have contracted the party for 7.4. That, it makes really no difference from 8 years to 6 years. So if you are talking in terms of application of mind, and which is what a lot of people have questioned, I want to tell you the amount of time people on this BOM have spent. We mentioned 2 in-house experts. We mentioned the bent company, but that is just on record. Off record, as late as yesterday, I met the head of ICI Jewelers. And because people have raised these questions, I still don't want to be confident that, no, I know it well. I am not going to say that. I still went up to him and asked, this is a debate that is going on in my society. You are head of ICI Jewelers, you have got 40 years of experience in the paint business, what do you say? And what we have decided got vindicated. I came back very happy and relieved yesterday. So, all of us have some idea because we have built houses, we have done construction, we have managed things. But not always we should tend to behave as if we are experts. Okay? We should go back to experts. We should not claim that we are experts. 2 things I want to say. We might be falling short on our expertise in certain respects. But our intent remains unquestionable. So far as our commitment to have the best outcome for the society goes. And if you question our expertise, if you debate over our expertise, we will join that debate. But when you question our intent, that is not acceptable. That is not acceptable. You cannot call names. You cannot tell people that there are deals involved. You cannot cast aspersions on people's financial integrity. None of you have an idea what is my daily hour of consulting charges. I spend 6 to 8 hours on every weekend. In an entire week, I spend 30 hours. There is a retired ambassador who has got many associations. There is a wealth manager who has to travel frequently. There is Smita who has got multiple teaching assignments. There is Arun who has a business to run. Namita runs pillar to post. They all take time out to see that हमारे सोसाइटी के लिए जितना अच्छा हो सकता है हम कर रहे हैं कि नहीं कर रहे हैं. And then you go and you use all kinds of terms without even thinking. Just because you have gotten away in the past, we will not let you get away today. Let me make that very clear. This society, if conduct has to be civilized. If you conduct yourself in a civilized fashion, you will get a civilized response. If you do otherwise, you will also be paid in the same form. Thank you. I have been extremely hurt by the kind of mails that have circulated. Nobody in my entire career has ever raised a finger at my integrity.
I cannot.
Yes.
I requested you, I do not know whether that has been reflected in the general position of the form. Because every time we paint the buildings, we put the scaffoldings and we just paint the walls. Now we always leave the bathroom windows as well as the staircase outside wooden frames, and nobody can do that. For painting a bathroom window from outside in the old wooden windows frames, you cannot put a scaffolding up to the level of 3rd floor and 6th floor, 7th floor. So when you do the wall painting, my request is that please paint the wooden frames, because that is very important for survival, and also once it collapses, you will be spending more for changing the glass and window frames.
I would like to inform you that that's already been planned. Even the stairway panels that we have, even they will also be painted, and besides that, we are also covering the gaps with putty, so that water doesn't slip in, because we have gotten the integral walls painted. That's been done.
Just Dr. anything. Come on, पहले आपने अभी तक बिल बोले थी. इनको पहले चाहिए.
Painting, the glass outside gets very dirty. And during the repair work also it has got dirty, during the paint work also it gets dirty. And then, normally it left unclean. So the view from the window gets very blurred and all that. So I would request that this should be considered as a separate thing during the painting exercise. After everything is done, the glasses should, from the outside, should be cleaned as neat as possible.
Even in the repair work, we could not take care of it. So
Yes.
we have taken note of it.
Yes.
We did.
No, we are patiently waiting for the paint to be done so that they can be cleaned finally.
Yes, Dr. IDC.
This, I have got 2 points to mention. One is I appreciate the point. I appreciate the point that you became emotional, and that is appreciable, because I know I have been in BUM many times, and I have observed this, that people criticize the members. If it is a positive criticism, it is okay. But if it reflects on integrity of members, BUM members, it's really very, one feels very bad. So, because people work without any money here, without any personal interest, and then if they are criticized, it is not okay. So, one point is this. Second point, I would like to add that we should make further efforts to increase our benefits from commercial things. Like we have made one small lawn here, which is connected with the kitchen. If we rent it out to the members for their parties, a charge can be decided, and we should use that place, and for maintenance same money can be utilized for that lawn, and then this can be maintained separately as an account. So I request to consider this point.
Thank you. I think on your second point, we have already, I think, announced that new area is open for parties, and what are the terms and conditions under which it can be entered. Okay? On the first question, observation that you made about the emotional, one second, let me speak. On the emotional, impact of uncalled for brickbats, let's say. While I can understand the emotion, I have maybe a more equanimous nature. And I would just like to quote to you a doha from Kabir. Or Rahim, I think it is Kabir. Rahim, is it? You're quite right. It goes like this. Nindak neede rakhiye, aangan kuti chhawaye. Nindak neede rakhiye, aangan kuti chhawaye. Bin sabun pani bina nirmal hot subhaye.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
I just wanted to endorse the gentleman's point that we do need to have a post cleanup because there's plaster, there's cement which has hardened on glass, and that doesn't get it looks absolutely awful. Even after the painting, we have to clean the switches because they have paint on them, and that's not fair.
We need to improve that.
I just want to add to that, because I've been speaking to the property manager about it for some days now. I've never seen such dirty paint work, in the sense of leaving behind everything, the amount of paint left on the banisters, leaving behind. I mean, whose responsibility is cleaning up various things? whether it is glass or whether it is the floor, whether it is the banisters, is this part of the paint responsibility? It has to be fixed. It never happens that a paint job means that they will do this and go away and leave the rest for us to make another contractor do.
No, so
whether it's paint or repairs, the follow-up has to be there.
I get your point. So it's the responsibility of the paint guys, and the procedure that he was following, that he was trying to first get the 2 or 3 towers done and then initiate the painting, cleaning work, which is what, like for instance, ours got over long ago, and we started the cleaning work I think 2 days before. So we have had a discussion with him, and we have said that on a daily basis, when you are kind of clearing off each floor, there is a first round of cleaning you do on those every floor that you keep going down, and then you come back for a proper cleaning. So we take that is your point.
Mr. Secretary, you see, there are wooden banisters involved, wooden frames involved. If the paint is left there for any length of time, you need another repaint job. So we'll have one paint job, another repaint job, a third repaint job, which a cleaning can take care of.
I think, Mr. Secretary, I have a suggestion on this. In all countries that I have been in, before you start painting, you cover all the wooden work and everything else before starting painting. And therefore you don't need a post-painting job so much. So the prevention is better than cure. Okay? Bad workmanship.
Did you notice what are the green sheets that they put up to prevent breakages? I mean, it was a sorry sight. And I've had 3 marbles on my banisters broken. And he just laughed it off, and Mr. Rajkumar had them there replaced.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I have on a lighter note, when I came to this society, when I came to this society and told my friends about it, I was bragging that we have a billiards table. Now I cannot brag about it anymore. Secondly, if anything is being disposed of by the SRWA, can the members get the first right of refusal if they want to purchase something? So if anything is being disposed of. Third point, Tower 7 basement, at the moment you come up the stairs, there's a big green jala with the old kitchen equipment of the previous cafeteria shops that we had. We want that space next to our this thing cleaned out. Because that junk, we need that space cleaned out because we have 2 meters.
Now, regarding this point, the car park where I have basement, next to that there is a big kachra line. I don't know from my tower somebody is waste from the construction. So it is gathering dust, and I get a lot of sneezing bouts going to my car park, and then I want that to be removed. That's also not that gentleman's property. That is a common area.
Thank you, Mohan. What I want to say is, I think there's one observation on the systems. We have laid down the system for channelizing the complaints and suggestions, which is there broadcast to everyone. No one is following it. If you follow it, these small things can be addressed before the once a year GBM. Okay? Just let me finish. In this particular case, you'll be glad to know that they have already been instructed the property manager to have a campaign to clean out the basement. So that is, Rajkumar, is it in process? Started. Okay?
So one more question, just an add-on.
Just we'll forget your questions if you don't let us answer.
No, just one more question. Can we have a full pakka basketball court?
We have a common area. It cannot be converted a complete basketball court.
But if it was
if we make it concrete, there are kids who also play football on it, they also play cricket on it. So we have one common area. We cannot convert it to specific to basketball. Coming back to your village table inquiry, basically, when first of all there was hardly any.
No, that was just kidding.
Thank you so much. Suggestion. I think it's because of the construction, ongoing construction, we live on the ground floor now. So all the construction material comes down on a floor in the garden was destroyed totally. On one side they cleaned it properly, but the back beside the bathroom. So all the construction material came on a veranda, but it wasn't cleaned for 3-4 days. So finally we cleaned it ourselves. Another suggestion I had was because this ongoing construction is causing a lot of pollution and dust. Can we have some kind of an automated sweeping, like road sweeping thing which the government has, which would take away a lot of our problems? Why not have something automated? Because I think our housekeeping is not able to clean the property very well, especially outside on the roads. And we keep on hearing that people from that side, Prestige, are coming and leaving their dog this side. But that doesn't mean that we just sit and not take any action on that. If our society, if our campus is dirty, then we need to have some system in place. But I don't hear anything about that. It's difficult for us to walk with the wheelchairs and all.
Yeah.
I think we have kind of digressed.
No, since he has asked the question, we can answer it. Firstly, I am a co-sufferer on the Malabar falling into the gardens. My garden was also totally destroyed. It is a part of the sacrifice the ground floor owners have to make for the society. And I didn't ask for any.
We did not make any complaints about that. Obviously, we are on the ground floor. As we understand that if the construction is going on, then everything is going to come down there. I'm talking about cleanliness of the campus in general. We have been talking about this for a long time, but I don't see any actions being taken on this. Why? I have a simple question, one question I'm asking. The campus is not clean. We are paying for maintenance to keep the campus clean. Why is the ground floor, the roads are not clean? Why? I can give you screenshots of all. I can take pictures and show you.
I think before your point is taken, we will have a look at it. How this leading system, whether we can improve it, we will have a look at it. I think Secretary wants to say something.
No, I think we should just finish the first agenda that we started off and then digress. So on the painting issue, let us just, because the UIL has we have reverted to our original plan. Of course, it is delayed.
You will have to hold it like this.
We wanted to start this from March 1st, which was handover because of what I explained in the last meeting. Now, after the experts advice and the paint company's advice, which was shared with all of you, we would like to revisit last GBM's assessor and start the exterior painting work.
May I have a point, please? I've asked for a point.
Yes.
I just want to draw your focus to the last GBM. We had a 1 hour 40-minute discussion here. A couple of people walked out also when the discussion was not moving in the right direction. Finally, it was decided that since the reasoning rendered by me in 2018, those who are not aware, 2018-19, each flat paid 33,000 rupees to the BOM in 11,000 rupees installments to repair the balconies. Balconies were repaired under Ankur. 4 years have passed. The cracks have come back. I made a point that day in that video. I am not going by the emotion what Secretary has expressed, but I am going by the technical thing. And I have spent 15 years as a founder member of the society. Since I bought the Surinder Singh sir's house, and he was the one whose wife has made this colony. And that is how I came to know that the cracks are coming because the water is seeping along the grill. into the foundation. The grill legs are heated. They are hanging in air, creating a passage for water to go in. I got this noted. This camera comes out in a couple of thousand. This has the recording here. President agreed to it. We will repair that. But then, two people came from Parachute. They reviewed everything and they said, no, the vendor, this is what I said, there is a vested interest. The vendor is saying, if you don't pay it now, the cracks will come back. Is vendor aware of the story of 2018 and 19? No. Nobody looked at it.
Please don't.
And please.
Why are you screaming? Just
and
say
please
the
take,
same thing
because
now.
somebody has screamed just now, you didn't say anything. You didn't say anything. Somebody has screamed like anything. Because I am the one who's writing. Finally, please take it on record. Today it is 2025 April. 2026 you will have at least 10 balconies, same time cracked. And by 2028 you will have 50% balconies cracked. I have seen the balcony. Some gentleman is getting his house repaired on the ground floor of Tower 8. I have seen the way the hole has gone down. And that's on the ground.
The balcony is broken in my house also. Haven't you all suggested that you're also getting that repaired?
Okay. So that's it. But you have completed
That has already been
So
completed.
now when the GBM rule is overdone, what do I expect as a resident? Whose interest is involved in this? Why are we rushing it? What are we achieving? Whose daughter is getting married that we want the building spick and span? Why can't we wait for the monsoon? President agreed to it. President very much agreed and everything was recorded. But suddenly we get a mail, no, we are going here. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. It's not worth sitting here and listening.
I'm an engineer. I disagree totally. I disagree totally with the logic.
You should hear the guy.
I work with LNT. I disagree with that logic.
Sir, in August month, Tower 7 repair was almost finished. Now we are talking in April. What more seasoning do we want for the repair?
Exactly.
Yes. How much more long we want to wait? We should start with exterior painting immediately, tower by tower.
How much time has been given in the past?
Let me just correct the words that have been put into my mouth. If my memory of the last GBM is correct, this matter was discussed, yes. Colonel Tandale and one other member said it must be postponed. There was another member who had, Mr. Sethi, who had a technical background. He said, no, this is not the right way to do it. It should be done within 2 weeks, or I don't forget the number. So what we said was, while we will go along with the first two members for the time being, we will consult experts, and after consulting the experts, we will take a view. So now, after consulting experts, and we have shared all this with all the members through communications, global communications within the society, and so all the details and the experts' views have been documented and given to you. So on that basis, our view, considered view of the BOM is we should go ahead without much delay. And we seek the endorsement of the GBM for that. You want to?
No, I just want to, for those of you who might not have read it, I'll just read it out so that it's not getting missed. On painting, this was the GBM Minutes. On painting of towers, the majority of members present felt exterior painting should not start before the building repairs are completed. There were suggestions we should get the repairs together one monsoon before painting the towers. This is what Colonel Chandran mentioned. We have agreed to defer painting of the exterior walls until the repair work is over. Because we respect a wider view and we agreed, but we didn't have the expertise. But at the same time, we also took note of the fact that this requires an expert's view, not somebody's perceived wisdom. Okay? So therefore, we said at the same time, the BOM agreed to defer painting of the exterior walls until repair work is over. We never said once to the repair work is over. And new timeline will be proposed after consulting experts. It was agreed, however, to go ahead with the painting of the interior doors. Then the other things are about rates and all that. And subsequent to which we came back with not one, two, which I have today responded to Mr. Chandel's mail, putting out all the screenshots. So this entire thing that we have kind of done it hastily, we have done it in a very overtly, is not true. We have been taking views and experts because we are concerned what is the right thing to do, what is the wrong thing to do. And see, sometimes working on perceived wisdom, as a collective, we might end up taking a wrong decision. There is nothing wrong with that. It happens. And as a collective again, exercising informed wisdom, we can course correct. So, we, on the basis of perceived wisdom, we took a decision in the last GBM, which was probably not the right decision. Now, based on informed wisdom, we are coming back with a proposal that we should take a decision which is the right decision as per what experts should say. Several experts have told us that we should just go ahead with it, which is what now our friend was also saying he works for L&D. Now this is like 7th or 8th endorsement of this view. Now that cannot be held hostage against one person's decision.
Because once monsoons come, you will have to let the plaster dry out before you can apply the just.
Again, you can do in summer only. You can't do it. Can't do in winter.
I was present for the. I was present for the last GBM discussion. It was majority decided that we should do it post-mortem. I'm not going for the expert view or anything. Point is, a GBM decision was there for post-monsoon. How you recorded it, I'm not talking about, but majority was for painting to be post-mortem. Good enough. You have got an opinion from expert. As a BOM, then you are supposed to ask the environment or the GBM. You cannot take a decision, take a quote. You are arguing, no, I'm sorry, you look at BOM minutes, madam. It is decided that you are going ahead with the painting.
No. Please,
listen to me. No.
Okay.
Let me complete. Right. So, now, I am not talking about the procedures or expert advice on that, but the GBM decision cannot be changed by BOM, right? And you have not put any proposal for discussion on the painting. If that was your aim, that to put it up to GBM for discussion on painting, then you should have put it in the agenda.
Not necessarily. There are several things that the BOM can do which can be raised.
Wait, but I'm not
the commission of the chair, which is what
I'm talking about GBM agenda.
Which is what I have done now. So, we can get bogged down with all kinds of technicalities and argue unendingly. Sir, let me kind of read out what exactly we said. Based on the expert advice received in painting of exterior walls of the society tower, the BOM approved a new timeline for the same and asked the paint applicator contractor to proceed accordingly.
They have taken a decision and done that. So you have already asked
the applicator to go ahead with the new timeline. What is the new timeline? Have you seen the exterior paint work starting? Have you? No?
No, but it means you...
Yes. So ask us now. What is
but it means that the GBM decision that post-monsoon is being...
Because sir, you see, it is one thing to argue about things here, it is another thing to line up logistics. Okay? So, when we have to tell the applicator, because we have already signed an agreement, we have to get insurance papers ready, everything ready so that we don't lose time. With the assumption that just like the BOM thinks that it has come to a right decision, with the confidence that the GBM will see the reasoning behind it and approve it. And if the GBM today decides, no, we don't approve it, we don't proceed with it. It's as simple as that. That's all. Sir, we have not paid due respect to GBM and not started the work. We could have started it on 23rd of March when we decided that, right? We have waited. We know what it means to respect a GBM's decision. But you don't check that with us. Kamdar Bhushan, you tell me, haven't I come to you on several counts for advice and expert? Because I respect your institutional knowledge. So in the same way, I am quite accessible to all of you. Nobody has come and asked you, what is the new timeline you are proposing? Why do you go, I mean, there are some people who I see, I mean, I don't want to take names, go sniffing around literally. And then put out all these things. Sir, please understand. Do you, please, I want to ask you, you are one of the senior most members. The language that has been used in the last 3 minutes, is that something
my
yours, not yours.
Then I don't have any.
You are a gentleman enough. When you see, you pointed out something which was not right, and then you got a clarification, and you were gentle enough to immediately respond and say you are taking back that mail, right? I mean, that's the way it should be in a society. It allows me to, I have more respect for you, you have respect for me. But you just can't go indulge in name calling.
I think let's finish the guys 1:30, 1:35 p.m.
I would still like to ask, when is the exterior painting going to start? Please answer.
Once the GBM approves.
Kindly ask me.
So,
is there approval of the GBM?
Yes.
Please go.
No. Give a date and then ask for approval.
First give a timeline.
Give a timeline and then ask for approval.
As soon as the towers which are done.
Date is not important, as soon as possible.
We have to go back to the applicator and ask how early he can start. At the earliest possible.
So I think with that we have come to the end of this GBM. Thank you.
No, Mr. President, budget, how are you spending money in this current financial year without a budget?
Oh, sorry. No, please, got it. Okay, so, the most important thing, please.
So vote an account at 20%.
It's a vote on account where, so, the manpower and all those costs, which are 7% or whatever is nominally we have projected this. All the capital projects which could not be taken up, we have added that.
It's an exercise you have to go through.
No, yes, no. It was there, we just forgot. So this is the vote on account statement that we have prepared. Okay. So this is how the maintenance looks like. We haven't, there is no additional resource mobilization. More or less, you will see the revenue figures are by and large same as the same. And these are all, that is like you see, lift is 1.05%, 5% increase and all that. So the same things, manpower, maintenance, manpower, this is the number, okay? Good. So it's about 5 to 7% between that. Office cost, base, purchase.
Wait, go up please.
Huh?
Let's go up. G repairs, again like 1 lakh.
Which one? Yeah, we have made a progress.
But you got the
Sir, another submission. I know some people, you should come to see how the participation in our gym is
Can you give a number?
Yes.
Give.
We'll share. Yes.
Give how many people are attending gym every day?
Over 25 to 30.
Only.
Yes, sir. Average 25 to 30 is very good.
Out of 200.
This is just
And full table. Where did my friend go? Full table. Because average 4 players. अच्छा ये hang on, sit down. अच्छा please sit down. So this is by and large contribution, all expenses are
bottom line. Capital.
Capital में आप आ जाएंगे.
Stop.
I didn't know about it.
Gas for, what is it? Gas for fire cylinder?
वो एक रखता है आइटम, गैस भरना पड़ता है वो जो
कौन सा आइटम है?
राजकुमार गैस पर फायर सिलेंडर क्या करते हैं?
फायर सिलेंडर? हाँ सर, एवरी ईयर रिफिल करने पड़ते हैं।
गैस से बात नहीं है।
उसको करते हो?
फिर से
गैस इज नॉट अ एंट्री।
ओके।
गैस इज नॉट अ करेक्ट।
अच्छा ये देखिए सर, ये
Capital. Fire readiness. You're not proposing anything this year again?
No. Only thing that is added here is transformer purchase. Because everything is spending and all, vendor payment.
फायर इंश्योरेंस का बात करते हैं
यार फायर को हमने अभी प्रपोज नहीं किया है, लेकिन फायर को लेकर हुई थी, तो इसमें थोड़ा सा एक इन्फॉर्म्ड अप्रोच की जरूरत है, सोचने समझने की जरूरत है।
I think this is lunch time.
You can say that provisionally approved.
Provisionally approved, then we'll circulate. Anyway, it's
Okay, so we take it as approved. Now, yes, before I hand over the mic finally to Nitaji, I want to say that this is probably the last GBM that this BOM will be addressing. And so, on behalf of all the members of the GBM, we are thankful to the members who have come and spent time here to give us their comments, which we take on board on minutes.
Why the same GBM cannot continue to be
We are going for 2 more GBM minimum.
So,
I mean, in all practical terms.
Sir, like farewell.
Sir, then sir, we will then participate as a practical BOM.
So what I also want to say, put on record is my thanks to all the other members of the BOM who have worked tirelessly. As the Secretary has pointed out, we have met about at least 33 times.
Yes, that is commendable.
35
That's amazing.
in 9 months. And they have all come with all their domain knowledge and experience and wisdom, and I really could not have functioned without the support of all this able group of members. So thank you very much, BOM members. Thank you all members. And I'll now pass on the mic to Smitaji for the final rights. The final rights.
Thank you all for being here. This was a fascinating evening, afternoon, and I want to propose a thanks to our president, Ambassador Santosh Kumar, for so ably conducting this meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having given us the opportunity to